again, everyone. I am here today with a really exciting fountain pen purchase. I've been feeling a little sheepish about showing this one off because it is quite an expensive pen. However, I got this in a hop drop deal on Endless Pens and it was less than 50% off. So, which is still expensive. Let's just say that. But I won't go into the specifics. But basically, this is one of the pens that I've had on my radar for a while. Not necessarily this specific color and style, but definitely one of the pricier Aurora pens has been on my list for a little while. And for whatever reason, it seems like you either have a pretty low-end pen with Aurora or they go up like ridiculously in price. So this is one of the higher end models. I've already opened this up just to take a look at it and then subsequently packed it back in the box because I was a little, I don't know, I feel like this is a little delicate, but it may not actually be as delicate as I think it is. I'm trying to be careful with it. So let's go ahead and unpackage this and you can see what it is. So you can sort of see from this little wraparound label here. So it's the Caleidoscopio from Aurora, or Kaleidoscope. Auroras are made in Italy. And this, I'm not sure if it comes in a variety of colors. This was an impulse purchase for sure because it was so on sale on Endless Pens. And I just felt like I was never going to see that again. And sure enough, normally hop drop deals last an entire week. And the next day, when I went back and looked after I already purchased this, they were gone. They had taken all their hop drop deals down and said they weren't going to have anything else up until Black Friday. So I feel kind of lucky to have gotten this for the price I did. All right, and so then it's very heavily wrapped, as you will see. So it has this additional little box. You open this up, and then this little panel falls down. It smells very plasticky. It smells very chemically when you open this up, and I don't know if it's the box or what it is. One thing that did happen is that this little panel snapped because I had it over the edge of a table and it went down all the way, and then this little seam snapped down here. It's not really a huge deal. There's like 50 boxes that come with this pen, so it's not like I need this box, and it's not really good for anything else because it does have this panel in front that comes down. So then it has this little booklet here, and it talks about their manufacturing. It says located in Turin. It coexists side by side with the Aurora pen manufacturing in a former spinning mill of the 700 of the, I don't know what that means, and awaits you to discover the most surprising human invention. Show this coupon at the ticket shop to get a discount on the entrance ticket. Oh, so I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. Nice of them to include that, but clearly it is della Scrittura. That I think that must be sort of like a writing museum or something like that. That sounds really cool. I'll definitely keep this, so future trips to Italy. I don't think that this is I'm sure this expires at some point, and I doubt I will get there before it expires, but I'll keep that aside. And then it comes in this little plastic box. And this is, well, it's pretty much the final box, and I'll show you when I open it up. I'm going to put this other box and that aside. Actually, I think okay. I will put that in the wrap too, just so that it's not all over the place. Okay. So then this is it's a very hard plastic box, and then it has a magnetic closure here. And then when you open it up, it has the information about what your pen is, and the company. It says Aurora, an Italian historical company of 1919, from the great past, but projected to the future. I'm detecting there's a little bit of a translation problem, perhaps. is always looking for new ideas to meet the needs of its fans. The new nibs with innovative tips are an amazing writing experience. So this is a specialty grind nib. In addition, I think it's called a Goccia Nib. Gotcha. So when I ordered it, I had specific, oh, and then it even says 18 karat solid gold nib. So then you know it's 18 karat. I had ordered the medium gotcha, and I don't know if there was some sort of mistake here, because I thought that this was the fine, given the CF, and then there's the CM, which I would figure was the medium. But when I looked at the nib, I liked the size of it, so I didn't really want to mess with it, since I did not think I would be able to get this again. So let's see. What elevates a pen into art is craftsmanship, especially in the nib. We can recognize the artist's hand by that made. We can recognize the artist's hand that made it a beauty. Okay, sorry, I botched that. The making of a perfect nib requires immense dedication and in-depth knowledge and experience from the nib master. That is why calligraphy nibs are unique, as each is one by one handcrafted and checked with utmost care in Aurora. So this isn't really a calligraphy nib necessarily. At least that's not really how I see it. So I'm going to take the pen in the little bag, and after all that, the pen is like super light, which is really kind of hilarious. But I'm going to show you what's down in this little box area. So they did include a bottle of ink, and then there is this little booklet which gives you instructions in a variety of languages. This is a piston fill pen. I think I can pretty much use a piston fill pen without detailed instructions, but it did include all of that. I'm not going to open the ink either. What I'm going to do today is I'm not going to fill this pen. I'm going to dip test it, because at this point I haven't really decided what ink I want to include. And because of that, I don't want to just go ahead and fill it up without really knowing. Okay, I'm going to move this up to the side here, and then let's get this, the star of the show, which is the pen itself. But yeah, it's so funny with all this packaging. I mean, maybe they should be a little more low-key with their packaging, because then when you open it, you're not like, oh, it's actually quite a small pen in this huge box. So these are numbered editions. So this is number 335 out of 860. And I assume that is specifically for this color. And this color is beautiful. It has blue and purple and white. It's really, really pretty. I had my eye on a pink one that was just crazy expensive, and I thought, you know, I might not ever get that one. But this one was also really beautiful, so I was really happy that this particular one was available. And here is it uncapped. There is, I don't know if you can see, there is an imprint here of the Aurora logo, and then it talks about you know, where it's made and all that sort of thing. And there is a little ink window here, and the nib itself, although it looks a little small, it's kind of like a zoom nib, this specialty nib. So I'm eager to try it. I figured if I tried it and it was just god awful, I will have only dip tested it at this point as well. But I don't expect that to be the case. And when I ordered it, I was kind of agonizing between the fine and the medium. I just really didn't know, given that it's a specialty nib, whether it would be good to have, you know, the medium or the fine. So let's see. So when it is posted, it actually feels quite nice in the hand. It's not heavy at all. I assume it'll gain a little bit of weight with the ink in the reservoir. And how you fill it is you would, oh, and it's very smooth, you would put down that little piston, and then you would go the other way to piston fill, and there you go. I can't really see anything in the ink window. I think it's probably invisible, because it doesn't go, oh, you can see it a little bit. Oh, there it goes. So you can see the little piston go down into the ink window area, so that's all the way down, and then you would just move that back. It's actually very smooth action there. And I assume it's pretty much this whole area here that would be filled with ink. I just realized that when I did that, this little ring here seemed to be a little bit like it could move, but I don't know. And that's part of it too. Like, I don't know, is there something that's an issue with this pen and that's why it was on such deep discount at Endless Pens? I really don't know how Endless Pens can offer their pens at the price that they do. So my only, not necessarily complaint, but my only lament is that this does not have a gold finish with the hardware here, with the clip, and the clip seems, sorry, I'm going to move the cap before I do that. The clip seems pretty flexible. I tend to like a gold trim a little bit better than a, I don't even know what you'd call this trim. It's like a silver looking trim. So, but you know, again, I liked it enough to spend the money on it and view this as one of my higher cost pens. So let's go ahead and pick a blank page in my Tomoe River notebook. And I decided that I'm going to dip this into Great Southern Ocean by Robert Oster. I didn't want something that was super duper strong, but I also wanted something that I knew would be a good flowing ink. So this sort of was in the middle for me. And I'm noticing, so I was a little concerned to push this down a little too hard, but I kind of have to push it so that it doesn't fall off, the cap. It doesn't fall off. But it doesn't seem to scuff the finish on the pen at all. And it really is beautiful. It says Aurora, Italy here on this band. And then the nib, on the nib, it says, let me take my glasses off so I can read it. It says 18K, and then it just says Aurora. You can see that. Okay. Because you can see there's sort of like a little bit of a swoop to the nib, kind of like the, oh, and it actually feels really nice, just without anything at all. It has a little bit of a swoop, kind of like the Sailor nib. Okay, now I don't want to go too far in here with ink. So let's see. So this is, oh, okay, yeah. So this is probably, so you're going to get a thicker line when you write just like that, and then the more you tilt it up, so it is a lot like the Zoom nib, and that's super thin. This actually would probably be a really good pen for sketching, because you can get such a thin line, and it's actually a really nice line quality on the reverse side of the nib. Yeah, so I'm actually, you know, whether this is a true medium or a fine, I don't think I would want to go any thicker than this because, oops. Because that's a pretty thick line, but I think I could get away with writing that way. Let's see how much ink is left in the feed here. Let's say okay, so you can hear it on the paper, but it doesn't feel scratchy. Let me do some block lettering. And it seems to have a pretty wet ink flow. And I will put the exact model of this down below. It seems to hold a lot of ink in just that little dip of a feed there. Let me close that cap of the ink so that doesn't fall over. It does seem like it's probably approaching Aurora. And it is nice to have the flexibility of doing different weight lines. And it is a very smooth nib. Yeah, as you can see, I'm probably running out of ink. But yeah, it's lovely. Lovely. So, oh, and I'm probably running out. So it's a very thin line up and down, and then it's a wider line side to side. Whereas a stub would be the opposite. So this is a little bit like an architect's nib too, in that way that you get a thinner line down and a wider line across. Okay, let me go ahead and rinse this off quickly. I have some water off to the side here. Yeah, and you could see there was still a bit of ink there in the feed, but, and I will be doing some more cleaning of this off camera. So let me go ahead and cap that back up. I'm actually really stoked about this. It's, it has a really beautiful line, and yeah, it's really fun. Like I said, you've got a lot of choices for your line weight. And although with the back of the nib, it did seem like it was scratching into the paper quite a bit. Let me see. You can't really feel the imprint on the other side, but here you can feel it kind of was taking some of the texture with it of the paper. But it's such a nice fine line. I really do think it would be nice for sketching. But it's such a nice fancy pen that I don't know if I'd want to use it for sketching. But it definitely seems beautiful in its line quality. And like I said, I don't think I would want any broader than that, because it would just be too broad for normal writing. Because just with normal writing, I can write fairly normal size letters. Okay, so that's it. This turned out to be a little bit of a longer video than I anticipated, but I did want to show you this, and I know a lot of people don't necessarily have the chance to try these. So, you know, keep an eye on those Hop Drop deals on Endless Pens. I'm constantly impressed with the brands and the prices that they have. I mean, this basically was a steal, even though it was still expensive. It was nowhere near the original cost, because the deal with the Hop Drop deals is they're usually 50% off or so to begin with, and then they usually do an additional 30 to 40% off of that 50% off price. So it was a good deal. And when you get this specialty nib, it usually adds $100 to the cost of the pen. And even with all that, it still was a reasonably priced pen. Top of my price range for certain, but you know, reasonable. But there you go. I am a sale shopper. So that's it for today. Feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you have any questions about this pen or anything else really, just let me know down in the comments, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can on that. And I hope to see you next time, but in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.